Cleveland Browns off to that great 5-1 start in the AFC Central. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Criqui with Beasley, Reece. The Cincinnati Bengals, and the worst of times continues. They've now lost 18 of their last 21 regular season games, dating back to last season, 0-5 this year. Coach David Shula is looking to get the running game going today because David Klingler's been struggling so badly at quarterback.
Well, we talked to David Klingler in our meeting, and he clearly is a man down in the dumps. He'd like to throw the ball 50 times a game, but it's not going to happen. They'd like to settle this game down. They'd like to shorten it by running the game, and they'd like to make sure that Pittsburgh's great defense, they don't make any great plays like sacks and interceptions.
Now, the Cincinnati Bengals are hoping to run it. We know the Pittsburgh Steelers can run it. In fact, nobody does it better. They are the #1 running team in the NFL right now, and they have a 1-2 punch. Not just Barry Foster.
The 1 punch is Foster. The 2 punch is Bam Morris. He's the second leading rusher on this team and an excellent, excellent young football player.
And now Johnson is ready to kick off for Cincinnati to start the game. And there is Rod Woodson, one of the game's great kick returners, ready to bring it back for the Steelers. Pittsburgh has beaten Cincinnati the last 6 times they played. Prior to that, though, the Bengals had a 6-game win streak over the Steelers. The Steelers now a 3-2 team. And a bad game out in Seattle. Then they played some great football, winning it against Houston here on a Monday night. They had the bye week, 3 days off. And now they're hopefully going to hit their stride because Cleveland's keeping the pressure on this division with its 5-1 start. Johnson with a good kickoff. He hits it deep and backpedaling 2 yards deep in the end zone, and Woodson will bring it out. He crosses the 15 and the 20. A marker comes in. There'll be a blocking foul on the Steelers. And that'll set them back as Pittsburgh's offense comes out, led by Neil O'Donnell, who's had some of his best games against Cincinnati. A big, tough offensive line, one of the best in pro football, and a big reason that the Steelers are #1 in the NFL in rushing. O'Donnell has quarterbacked 5 games against Cincinnati. He's 5-0 against them. 10 touchdown passes, just 2 interceptions. Barry Foster over 500 yards rushing this season. John L. Williams, a good pass catcher out of the backfield. Johnson and Hastings, the starting wideouts. Ernie Mills will come in the 3-wide set. Eric Green rates among the very finest at tight end position in football. So after the penalty against the Steelers on Ariel Solomon, the ball is set back to the 14-yard line. 1st and 10 Steelers. And O'Donnell looks to throw on 1st down and does. He triggers it hard in a slant pattern. Going to Eric Green, who is flexed out.
Well, boy, that was a great play.
And now we look at the Cincinnati front 4. Lots of #1s in there, but this whole group does not have a sack yet this year. The entire Cincinnati defense has just 3 sacks. There are 7 players who were picked in the 1st round, 5 by the Bengals. Darrell Williams, a very good free safety. He's playing some strong football this year. In the nickel package, Braxton and Corey Sawyer, a rookie, come in. Right now it is 2nd and 10 for the Steelers, and they go to Foster, and look at Cincinnati play defense. As they shoot defensive backs, Alfred Williams, the right end, was there, but so was safety Lewis Oliver, who shot the gap, number 29.
Well, that's back-to-back great plays by the defense. One great play by the corners. Now look at the penetration by Alfred Williams, number 94, gets in there. The penetration absolutely kills the offensive effort.
On 3rd down and needing 12 yards, Neil O'Donnell sets in the shotgun. Here's a blitz. He gets it away. But Eric Green makes a one-handed catch, but not enough for the 1st down. An excellent play by Eric Green, but Lewis Oliver, the strong safety who was covering him, knocks him out of bounds, and the Steelers will be forced to punt from deep in their own end.
Now, this is something that the Cincinnati defense has been looking for all year. Pressure on the quarterback. You see Francis coming in, and most of the defenders crushing the line. That's a great defensive series by a team that's been struggling.
Now the punt downfield by Royals, and running it back is Corey Sawyer, the rookie out of Florida State, number 23, and he is the #1 punt returner in the AFC, averaging almost 20 yards a return. A 54-yard punt and a 5-yard return, and here comes David Klingler, who at the moment is the lowest-rated quarterback in the American Conference. Mark Dennis moves in to start at left tackle today. The offensive line has been racked by injuries. The starting tackles are gone. Harold Green and Derek Fenn are two big running backs in there. They've run the ball fairly well. Pickens and the rookie Darnay Scott, one of the best deep threats in football. Scott averaging over 20 yards a catch this season. And they'll be looking deep to him as Jim McNally, the offensive line coach, hopes to see some pass blocking for Klingler. Now they go to the run block as Benner runs, and not for very much. Taken down by the nose tackle for the Steelers, Joel Steed, as we look at the Steelers on defense. Front three, Williams, Steed, and Kevin Henry at right end, as Ray Seals is still out with a thumb fracture. Good linebackers, the outside backers, Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd, two of the best pass rushers. Woodson, a perennial all-pro at cornerback. Very strong defensive team. Steelers rank in the top 8 in both offense and defense in the NFL right now. End up. Broussard, small quick cuts back and gets to the 35-yard line, where Joel Steed shed the block. Kevin Green, who has 6 sacks, also was on the play. And now it's a long down, Beasley, for David Klingler.
Broussard's only 5'7", but he's a very well-developed young man, very quick to the hole. And we see Cincinnati trying to establish a run like they told us in their meetings. 2 runs back-to-back with zone blocking up front.
Broussard, a fun guy. He's got a Pit Bull tattooed on his right shoulder. As Klingler drops on 3rd down. Dumps it off. He's got Broussard. Putting on some moves. Broussard can't get there. Broussard averaging 5'8" a carry. Also catches the ball well. The nickelback, Tim McKyer, came in and knocked him out of bounds. So the Bengals go 3 downs and out with their offense, and they'll have to punt.
Well, we're seeing exactly what the coaches told us in the meeting. Cincinnati trying to establish the run. And the Cincinnati defense, I'm really impressed with starting out. Now, this is a real good defense. A lot of number ones. They've been put in bad situations by their offense. At times, Don, they've played as many as 94 plays in a single football game. You should play about 60, 70.
They've been on the field a lot. Here's a penalty marker as our referee, Johnny Greer, gives us the
ball
call.
Start, 46, offense. Still 4th down.
Jeff Cothran, a fullback, was in to block on the punt team. David Shula, he is really maintaining his equanimity as best he can, but this is a very difficult time. 18 losses in the last 21 regular season games. Stepping into the ball is the AFC's best punter right now, Lee Johnson, as Woodson gets it. He's caught, loses the tackler, and Woodson gets up the sideline and out across the 20-yard line. So the Steelers go on offense when we come back. Bill Cowher, the 3rd-year head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's never seen his team lose to Cincinnati. As we mentioned, the Steelers with a 6-0 record over the past 3 seasons, dating back before when Cowher came here. Both teams going 3 downs and out on their first possessions on offense and having to punt. Bees?
Well, I was really impressed with Cincinnati's defense. I mean, they've got a lot of big people. They've been struggling. And Barry Foster, is his left knee is being iced right now, so Bam Morris is in the game. And when they put that much ice on your knee, you're going to sit there for a while. So that could be quite the blow. We're told that it's a sprained left knee by Barry Foster.
So Beasley, you're talking about that 1-2 punch, and here's the 2 punch, and it's a good one as Bam Morris, the rookie from Texas Tech, who hasn't carried a lot, but he is averaging 4.6 yards a carry. Better even than Barry Foster has been so far. He advances the ball out close to the 25-yard line, and it'll be 2nd down and a long 5.
And one of the problems that Cincinnati has had over the years is being out physical, just being pushed around by the Steeler offensive line and the Steeler defensive line. That's the reason they went out and brought all these big people along that line, is to be able to fight against Pittsburgh.
On 2nd and call it 6, a blitz. And coming off the defensive end position and beating the block was Alfred Williams, a former linebacker who's been moved to a down lineman position. So he gets his first sack of the season.
Watch the surge by the front lineman, and look how quickly Alfred Williams dashes inside, beating Devall Love. That's just excellent penetration, and this Cincinnati defense is looking tough.
There is a Foster. Apparently he's done for the day. He's got his pads off. So that's a tough development for the Steelers. One of the best runners in pro football on the bench. His left knee iced down. Early report, a sprained knee. Now on 3rd down, it's 15 from the shotgun. O'Donnell looks downfield and he triggers it out. Gets his man. Running with the ball is John L. Williams, and he's cut down 2 yards short of a 1st down. Punt unit comes back out. Let's take a look at where Foster may have gotten hurt a bit earlier.
It's one of the first plays in the game, a full block on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
And you see the left leg kind of straighten out just a little bit. We believe that that is possibly where the great Barry Foster twisted his knee.
Now a penalty marker goes down as Royals punts the ball downfield. He got off a beauty his last try, a 54-yarder, but we'll see what this call is. Somebody may have been downfield early, as Johnny Green gets the report from his back judge. And that is the call. Somebody left early, one of the punt coverers for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's liable to take this, though, Beasley.
Well, they're in great position on the field right now. They're
Number
just about at
53,
midfield.
kicking team,
David
illegally downfield. It's declined.
Reggie Clark left a bit early, so when we come back, the Bengals will go 1st and 10. A great day in western Pennsylvania. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals with Barry Foster, the Steelers' top rusher, on the bench with ice on his left knee. On offense, a quick out. Triggered downfield and is caught. Beautifully done. Rod Woodson was covering, and the rookie Darnay Scott out of San Diego State, a terrific-looking young player. He was picked at the top of the 2nd round.
There's Rod Woodson, and when we talked to Darnay Scott at our meeting, he was very concerned about playing the talented Woodson. You see how quickly Woodson closed on the ball. He saw the quarterback take a quick 3-step drop. He knew it was a quick pass and made a nice break. But good play by Darnay Scott.
The Bengals are last in the American Conference in total offense, but right now they have a 2nd down and 4 play. Pitch back, Broussard. Can he turn it up? Just for a little bit, he gets to midfield where Woodson runs him out of bounds. It looks like a marker comes flying in after the play. Could be a late hit. Or a face mask call against the Steeler defense.
Broussard checking his head to make sure it's still there after somebody grabbed him.
It is official that Barry Foster is out for the game. He'll not play again today. Hopefully he'll be back next week.
Face mask, 26, defense. 1st down.
Woodson, the all-pro, called for the face mask.
Here's Rod trying to work him in and work him out of bounds. You see him grab just the front. Little turn there. Boy, that's the most dangerous thing that you can do to an opponent. He didn't yank on it. That's the reason it wasn't the big penalty, but he did grab it.
Bengals were expecting a very physical game. Tovar, their young middle linebacker, said you'll need an extra chin strap today for this one. Right now it's the Bengals offense on the move. They go to reverse. Here's Darnay Scott. He's the tackle, then he's caught, knocked back. Well done by Darren Terry, the free safety. It was reading it all the way, so there's a loss on the play. Greg Lloyd was also on the stop, number 95.
The defensive ends for Pittsburgh pinch inside a lot. So when we met with the Bengals coaches, they said they would try some misdirection. Here's one of them, the reverse to Darnay Scott. But these guys pinch in, but the linebackers and the defensive linemen and the DBs on this defense are so fast that they close immediately. Good play by the defense.
They all talk about the speed of those outside linebackers, how they just change the face of the defense. Take away a lot of things because they're a great ability to just flat out run. Here is a handoff as the Bengals continue to try to run the ball on 2nd down and 13. They get it inside the 45-yard line of the Steelers, where Gerald Williams makes the knockdown. And another penalty marker's down. Personal foul. Illegal block.
This is the exact situation that the Bengals did not want to put David Klingler in against the fine defense.
Personal foul, crackback. Number 86, offense. Still 2nd down.
Darnay Scott, the rookie wide receiver, called in an illegal crackback block. He comes from a wideout position and goes back and whacks somebody below the waist with a blindside block. Used to be legal.
Yeah, it used to be legal many years ago when I was playing, but there's Darnay dropping his head and going at the knee of a linebacker. You just can't do that. He tried to get Levon Kirkland with the low block. Illegal.
Nobody can crack back Beasley like the great Buckeye and Miami Dolphin and Cleveland Brown, Paul Warfield. Handoff. Broussard takes it right up the middle, comes inside the 45-yard line and down to the 44. Darnell Lake making the stop. Well short of a first down and brings up third down and 10.
The Bengals really staying true to their commitment to the run. Faking the pass. You got the linebackers and the DBs backing up because of the long distance for the first down. And Broussard doing a great job getting to within 10 yards.
There's Bruce Coslett on the right, offensive coordinator. He told us yesterday that the Bengals are ready to explode. He just hopes it's on the field. Right now they're playing some hard-hitting football. Another penalty marker comes in as Greg Lloyd takes the ball down inside, makes the tackle inside the 40-yard line. Broussard was the carrier again, and the call again is against Cincinnati.
Boy. Well, this has been a sloppy game when it comes to penalties so far, basically on both sides of the ball. Just flag every other play.
At least every other play. 7:09 to go in the first quarter. Still no score.
Holding, 82, offense. It's declined.
David Shula.
Fourth down.
The report that his tight end, Tony McGee, was called for holding.
Lined up in the slot, you see your number 82 flashing around. McGee grabs and pulls just a little bit on Rod Woodson to get him down on the ground.
Just a little, maybe a lot. And that brings punter Lee Johnson back out for Cincinnati, and there's Rod Woodson standing at his 10-yard line. No score first quarter. Clock running with 6:46 to play in it. Johnson angling to the left. He hits a low punt that Woodson will run back. Good special teams coverage by the Bengals. Hems in the Pro Bowl kick returner and knocks him down at the 14-yard line. The Steelers have it when we come back.
There's Barry Foster, the great running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A disappointed man right now. He's out with a strained left knee. The good news is, Don, that they haven't taken him underneath. They haven't taken him off the field for an x-ray, so the doctors must be sure that it's just a strain.
And there's Ron Earhart, offensive coordinator, one of the best for the Pittsburgh Steelers, believes in fundamental offense. Pound the ball at him. And they do that with the big back, Bam Morris, who breaks it ahead, and he's out to the 28-yard line. A gain on the play of 14 yards and a Steeler first down.
That's the first crack in that Cincinnati defense. The defense is playing very well against what I consider one of the best offensive lines in the game. Take a look at Duval Love, number 67, folding around and chipping off on Steve Tover. And Marsh just stepping up in there nicely for the good run, but set up by the good blocking by the offensive line.
Charles Johnson, the rookie wideout, a standout, is wide to the right at the top of your screen as O'Donnell takes the drop, looks downfield, going deep. He goes to Andre Hastings, number 88, the second-year wideout, who came off the left flank and overshoots him. That'll bring up second down and 10 as we have no score in the first quarter.
Boy, Neil O'Donnell almost had him here when we spoke to him in the meetings. He talked about the play action and how you run it, and try to get something downfield just a little bit too long that time. O'Donnell's a very confident guy. I wouldn't mind him having him as my quarterback. You know, when we talk to him, he's a tough guy. I like the guy.
Yeah, he's settling right in. He had some tendonitis problems, which seem to be much better now. Week off helps. Second and 10, they go back to the run. Bam Morris doesn't find a thing. The 235-pound back from Texas Tech takes it straight into the Cincinnati defense, where he's thrown back on the play by John Copeland, number 92.
I am so impressed with this Cincinnati defense, man. The big defensive linemen are throwing people around. Keith Rucker jumping up. There's the defensive coordinator, Larry Piccatello. He's got some good people. They're averaging holding their opponent to about 3.6 yards a try, which is not real bad. I mean, they're putting bad situations by the offense.
O'Donnell lost the long ball and way overshoots his man. Hastings, coming off the right flank, was running a post pattern, and O'Donnell is pointing. He was looking for an out.
It's like he signaled he put two single fingers up like you had him one-on-one, and our adjustment to one-on-one is something that the guy didn't do.
It's a go pattern if it's one-on-one. So the Steelers got a first down, but now they have to send their punter back out. Royals ready to punt for the third time in the first quarter. A short punt. Pickens comes over. It takes a big Pittsburgh bounce, though. What was a Very poor punt at the outset turns into a terrific one for the Steelers as the ball is still rolling all the way down close to the 12-yard line of Cincinnati.
You got to try to catch those. My goodness. I mean, that'll bounce forever if you let it go down.
62 yards was Royals' punt to go with a 54-yarder.
A champion.
Number 80, Carl Pickens, has got to catch this punt. He's got to put his hand up in the air and call for the fair catch. He had plenty of time. He cost his team about 20 yards in field position by letting that thing hit that hard astroturf. Not a good play.
Mark Royals of the Steelers, the last rated punter in the AFC, but he's getting out of that anchor man position today with a 54-yarder in his first drive, now a 62-yarder. First and 10 Bengals, scoreless first quarter. Ricard comes back at the Steelers, and they come hitting hard. Steed, the nose tackle out of Colorado, was a lead tackler along with 99 Levon Kirkland, a big linebacker from Clemson.
And take a look at Steed, number 93, with all of that mass. Look how quickly he gets off the line, immediately nullifying the offensive effort. And, you know, this is a big guy. Steed's almost 300 pounds, but still very quick. Out of Colorado. University of Colorado.
Klingler against the blitz on 2nd and 8. He eludes it. He's a good runner, and now he puts his head down and slides to a stop at the 20-yard line. He gains 6 yards. Chad Brown was on him. David Klingler, who set 51 NCAA passing records at the University of Houston.
Boy, he wants to throw it. I mean, the guy, that's what he remembers, that success is passing the ball. But, boy, look at Lloyd coming around the corner, and he almost knocks the ball out of his hand right there. That's a problem that Klingler has had, is dropping the ball when he gets sacked. He's lucky that time that Lloyd didn't knock it out. They should teach him to go back in his drop back, holding the ball with 2 hands.
Let's see what he goes to on 3rd down and 3. Another big rush. They give him some time. He arcs the ball up, and it's incomplete. Going to Carl Pickens, who was swinging underneath.
Well, that's not his fault. Pickens should have had that ball. Deion Figures was all over him, but he should have brought that one in.
Bengals signaling that there's a penalty against the Steelers. Well, there is a marker down at the far side of the field.
I think we've had enough penalties today for 2 games.
It's like an opening preseason
Offside.
game.
37 defense. Lined up in the
Darnell
neutral
Lake
zone.
lined up in the
First
neutral
down.
zone, so instead of having to punt the ball, the Bengals get a first down.
How does the safety get off? You know, he must be blitzing. Okay, there he is, lined up all the way at the top of your screen. He's lined up offside. Oh, my goodness.
And so there is new life for the struggling Bengal offense. They have a first down and 10 at their 25-yard line. 3:30 to go. First quarter, no score.
I think we have another penalty.
I think we do. What else?
Oh, man. Come on, guys.
False start.
Goodness.
73 offense. Still first down.
Your right guard, number 73, Ken Moyer. That was it. That was all it was. That's all it took.
So they'll try again, but now it's just 1st and 15 set up for the Bengals. Klingler has hit 57% of his passes, 5 for touchdowns, 9 intercepted. He throws an out pattern looking for running back Harold Green and misshoots. It'll bring up 2nd down and 15. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 17-7 versus Cincinnati over the years here at Three Rivers Stadium. Pittsburgh puts a great premium, as all teams do, on 100-yard rushers. Pittsburgh is 51-4 at Three Rivers when a Steeler running back gets 100 or more yards. Howard wants his offense to pound it out, but they don't have the ball right now. They're looking to get it back. Klingler, good look, but then a terrific play by outside linebacker Greg Lloyd, the martial arts expert. He talks about the strike first technique of martial arts, and he got a hand on the ball.
You know, I believe
That's
that
good advice here,
that is
Beasley.
great advice. Avoid Lloyd. Now, watch that. You talk about the martial arts. Look at the reaction here. The quickness, sees it, great elevation, and bats it down. Avoid Lloyd.
An advanced student of Taekwondo, a form of karate.
He named off about 15 farms in the meeting.
He knows, here's the blitz. The marker's down, and David Klingler's running hard, trying to get to the outside. And the very fast outside backer you spoke about, Kevin Green, runs him down.
I love these outside backers on this football team.
That's a 7th sack this season for Kevin Green.
Well, he's everything. Kevin Green has got everything.
They're going to have a legal procedure before the snap, though. So Green doesn't get his sack. No sack.
Illegal formation. 64. Offense. It's declined. 4th down.
Now they're ruling it. The ball is spotted at the 20, so it's just over what was the line of scrimmage, so it would be a run play, and Green still doesn't get a sack, but he does force the Bengals to punt from deep in their own end.
Bruce Kozerski was lined up a little too far off the line of scrimmage. You know, almost like a halfback.
Lee Johnson back at his 5-yard line. Rod Woodson standing at his 39 in good position to give the Steelers a good place on the field to start a drive. Loses the handle. Turns the corner. And is knocked out of bounds at the 40. Bengals special teams well positioned against Rod Woodson. A 48-yard punt. And just a 5-yard return. Next week, the NFL on NBC features NFL Live Sunday at 12:30 Eastern Time. Most of you will see the Bengals go into Cleveland Stadium to meet the tough Cleveland Browns, who are off to a 5-1 start, and at the moment hold a 1.5 lead on Pittsburgh. The Steelers have a tough one. They head to the Meadowlands of New Jersey to play the Giants. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The NFL lineup on NBC next Sunday. At the moment, we have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the first quarter. No score. O'Donnell dropping on first down. Dumps it off nicely. Bam Morris, room to run, is ahead for 14 yards and a Steeler first down.
Now, if you're looking for that classic Steeler running game, the reason they are not running is that Cincinnati shows so many fronts, and they brought 8 men up on the line to stop the run. And now that they've stopped the run, O'Donnell has gone to the pass. Short passes to Bam Morris. He's done very well with it. You know what else done? You can't let this Cincinnati team hang around.
Well, that's what Cowher said. He said the longer they hang around, the tougher they are going to be to beat.
They better get something on these young guys.
They wanted to get him down early, but are unable to do it. There is Bam Morris running again on a first down carry. He's inside the Bengals' 45-yard line. For the free safety, Darrell Williams out of Miami of Florida. One of those 7 #1 draft choices in the Bengals defense makes the stop.
You know, there's a team psychology. There's a way a team thinks collectively. And if you let a team that's had a lot of trouble hang around long enough on a team that's doing very, very well, their confidence grows. Cincinnati's defense has done a great job. In the offense, they haven't made any major mistakes yet.
So far, Beasley, Bam Morris has run 4 times for 23 yards. O'Donnell losing his footing. He oftentimes a lineman trying to drop back in pass protection, steps on a quarterback's foot.
Or it could be that turf that we walked around on yesterday with all those sections, those baseball sections in it. Look.
Yeah, you're right, Beasley.
Yeah, it looks like he just kind of got caught around that 49-yard line, jumped up and got him.
And James Francis, the outside backer's beneficiary of that. He was the first to touch O'Donnell when he was down, and James Francis gets the sack.
No, that's a cheap one.
Hey, when you only had 3 coming into the game.
They got to take what they can get, huh?
Absolutely. O'Donnell on 3rd down. They give him time. He swings it to the outlet man, and he boots it, literally. So it's incomplete. John L. Williams couldn't hold it. Now let's go to NFL Live in New York, where Greg Gumbel's standing by. Greg?
All right, Don, we'll take you to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, where the Raiders have jumped on top early thanks to this miscue by Mark Higgs, who loses the handle when hit by Terry McDaniel. Anthony Smith returns 24 yards with a field goal. The Raiders are up now 10-0 on Miami in the first quarter, Don.
Back live to Cincinnati. A long punt by Royals goes into the end zone. He had been averaging 48 yards a punt in this game on his previous 3. That was a 49-yarder, but 20 yards comes off on the net because it went in for a touchback. So David Klingler with some last-minute counsel from quarterback coach Ken Anderson, who was one of the great players in the league for so many years for the Bengals. As we remind you that tonight the only place you'll find football on television is on NBC. It's the network television premiere of the football comedy Necessary Roughness.
You know, I did a couple of those football movies. You talk about a lot of fun. And Necessary Roughness is a good one. It's a funny movie.
Kathy Ireland stars in it.
Yeah.
As Barry Foster is back out on the field. He has a sprained left knee. Will not play again today, but it doesn't appear to be a serious injury. Errol Green cuts back. Those Steelers are so quick into the gaps. Something is there for a moment, it would seem, for the runner, but then when they try to go into the gap, bang. Carnell Lake, the strong safety, comes in and knocks him down, along with Keevan Henry, the right end.
I love the Steelers secondary. I love their linebacking core. I love the Steelers offensive line. It's a team that could really go places this year. But in this game today, that Cincinnati, if they could get something going on offense, they'd have a football team. They've been so inconsistent on offense, mainly because of the injuries to the offensive line.
That's been a continuing problem. The offensive line is really battered. Now the Bengals finally break the good run as on 2nd down and 8. Last play of the first quarter, Derek Fenner, the big back, averaging 3.8 yards a carry, rips off an 11-yarder. And the Bengals have a first down. They'll be going 1st and 10 when we come back to scoreless Three River Stadium. With Beasley Reece, this is Don Criqui back at Three River Stadium. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Bill Cowher's Steelers, a heavy favorite, find themselves locked in a scoreless duel with David Shula's Bengals, a team that starts 0-5 this year, looking to break out of the tailspin. Cincinnati's been a very aggressive, hard-hitting football team early in this game, and they've held the #1 rushing team in the NFL, the Steelers, to just 20 yards running the ball in the first quarter. As we open the second quarter, Klingler hands off. Derek Fenner runs the ball again and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Levon Kirkland, the inside backer, was the man who made the stop. As you look at the first quarter numbers, Beasley.
36 yards for the Steelers in total yards, trailing the Bengals. That's the surprise. I guess part of it can be placed on the shoulders of Barry Foster, who's out of the game with a bum left leg. But other than that, you have to be pleasantly surprised if you're a Cincinnati fan that hanging in there with this very good football team.
Klingler hands off. Here's Derek Fenner breaking it close to a first down. He'll be short of it as he crosses the 40-yard line and run out of bounds again by Levon Kirkland. An inside backer with size and a lot of speed getting laterally to knock him out of bounds.
The Shula plan working perfectly. They say they'd stick to the run to minimize the big mistakes like sacks and interceptions. The offensive line is kind of getting in sync. You know, the Steeler defensive line is not that big. It's not that imposing of a threat. So it's probably not a bad idea by Cincinnati. Try to establish that run and see if they can push those guys around for a change.
Klingler on 3rd and short, throws it out. A nice catch by Darnay Scott, the rookie, who goes back at the ball, picks it clean, and gets a first down for the Bengals.
Now, they've thrown a lot of passes at Rod Woodson, and they're out routes, which are very dangerous routes against one of the best, maybe the best, voted the best, defensive back in the National Football League. I don't think I would try to make too much money with out routes. It's the longest throw in football, and Klingler's not that confident with that throw right now.
Darnay Scott aligning wide to the right, averaging 20 yards a catch coming in. Klingler, long ball downfield, and here's a penalty marker. Deion Figures may have screened him off illegally. We'll see what the call is. It's in the Steelers secondary. Tim McGee, the intended receiver downfield. Maybe it's on McGee.
Uh-oh, we'll find out.
Talking about Darnay Scott, he just moved his mom out of a tough area in St. Louis into a new home in San Diego. The call is against Tim McGee. The veteran who left, went to Washington as an unrestricted free agent after some terrific years here in Cincinnati. Now he's back, and so there's a setback against the Bengals.
85, offense. Still first down.
Well, as an old defensive back, I'm glad to hear the call. I mean, you
don't see it much, do you?
You never see it. They always throw it on the defensive back. I don't care what the contact is. So, finally, the DBs get one.
Think that might be because the DBs are usually guilty?
Well,
only if you get caught. Figures has struggled a bit. He's still waiting for his first interception this season. 8 penalties already in the game and no score with 13:34 to go in the first half. Broussard, who's the high back now, he'll be running the ball if they go to him. Came in as an unrestricted free agent from Atlanta in the offseason. Klingler does go to Broussard, running wide. Roy Sadowski at tight end failed to get a block as he moved in front of him. And Broussard is cut down for a gain of less than a yard by outside linebacker Kevin Green.
Broussard's an interesting guy. He's had 6 shoulder operations. 6. He's got hurt the first shoulder falling out of a tree.
Yeah, and he high-fived somebody.
In the end zone after a 60-yard touchdown. He gave his teammate a high five and separated the other shoulder. But you see those big arms? He's been lifting weights, baby. Those shoulders okay now.
He's not tall, but he's not small. 5'7", over 200 pounds. And here is a beautiful throw downfield by Klingler. Are they waving it off now? Apparently they're going to mark the ball as a catch at the 46-yard line of Pittsburgh, short of a first down.
Darnay Scott was really worried about going against Rod Woodson.
He is a good-looking player.
And Woodson really respecting his speed. Now, you see with Woodson's talent, he's still almost there in time to knock the ball down. But Darnay Scott is a happy young man right now. This is the kind of game that a young rookie wide receiver can really get some confidence. I've got 3 catches against Rod Woodson already.
That's right. Jeez. That's a confidence builder. He looks like he's about 18 years old, a terrific young kid. And obviously a standout player. On 3rd and 2 yards, it looks like the Steelers may have shut down the run try. Levon Kirkland made the tackle. The spot is all important here. The game clock continues to run down to 12:10, and it looks like they're going to bring out the chains, or are they? They've stopped the clock. He got it by the nose of the ball. Looks from here, though, Beasley, like he's short. But you never know till the yard markers come out, and with 12:10 to go in the first half, David Shula's Cincinnati Bengals playing the Steelers dead even.
They've had some tough losses this year. You know, they've had 3 losses that were by less than, I believe, about 18 points. So they've been in some games. You're right, Don. He's short.
4th down. What does he do? He's going to go for it. You need to win.
Oh, I like that.
Point of the finger. We're going to go for it.
I like that.
You got to like that. You got to do that. You don't come out of the tailspin by playing cautiously.
Well, you got to show your team. You got to show your quarterback that you got a little confidence in him. I bet Klingler's right now and saying, "Come on, guys."
Hey, they sent Darnay Scott back into the game, Beasley. He is wide to the right. He'll be at the top of your screen when we cut to the full shot. There he is at the top. Klingler takes it. He has the first down. So David Klingler calls his own number 7, and getting a good block from his center, the former Seattle Seahawk, Derek Brills. He moves it ahead for a first down.
You know, I love those moments in sports. 4th and 1. You know,
Game's turn on him.
4th and goal. Oh, baby. They got it. Simplest play in football. Quarterback takes a snap. Everybody nudge forward, shoulder to shoulder. Klingler's a big guy. 6'3", 205.
Usually the center's got to get 2 yards for the quarterback to get 1 on that play, and that's what happened. He's right behind him. Klingler, happy feet on the run. Slides down to the 36-yard line. That is an undiscussed attribute of David Klingler. He is very quick. He can take off and gain yards, as he just did. Kevin Green's got to him, but on a first down run, he's ahead for a gain of almost 7.
One of the things that David has had trouble with is locating his receiver and holding the ball too long. I think it's a very smart move by David. If I don't see anybody, let me see if I can get 4 or 5 yards on first down. He ended up with about 6 yards. That's not bad.
This is the 11th play of the Bengals drive coming up. 2nd and short. Oh, almost a pick, and it would have been out of here for 6 if Rod Woodson had been able to hold on. He had it and lost it, and he had an open track to the end zone.
Hey, listen, you keep picking on Rod Woodson.
Yeah, that's right.
I have nothing else to say. You keep picking on Rod Woodson, and you're going to be pulling the kickoff return team out. This guy is good, period.
Well, they picked the all 75-year team, and he was on it.
And he's an active player. Are you kidding me? Boy, this guy's something else.
Bengal coach were talking about how he's all over the field. I mean, don't know where he's going to be.
I'd be throwing at Dion Figures. I'd be throwing at safety. I'd do something else.
Reset the play clock to 10 seconds.
As Bruce Coslett said, he's one of those guys that can blow a play up on defense.
And you know what's nice when you're a DB that reads quarterbacks and plays on anticipation and instinct like Woodson? Klingler's got a real big motion. I mean, he's a tall, long guy, so you have great vision on him when he throws.
See what he does. Looks like he might throw on 3rd down and 3. No, he goes to the run into Derek Fenner. He's close inside the 35-yard line, but he's short. So 4th down comes up. The Bengals have a good long-range kicker, Doug Pelfrey, their place kicker out of Kentucky, has the longest field goal in the American Conference this year. He's hit a 49-yarder.
Well, he's got 2 49-yarders, but I don't see him coming out here.
No, he's not coming out.
Uh-oh. Here's that situation again, Don.
Hey, here's the Shula. You got to do it.
Well, one thing we know is you can't go back to the well with the quarterback sneak, so it's going to take some blocking. It's going to take some real work here.
I don't know if I'd be doing this, but they are. Here comes the rush. Swing pass to Fenner. And he leans and he doesn't get there. Good. Dealing with one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they shut it down. So instead of trying a long field goal, they elect to go on 4th down, but you got to salute the chance they took. Pretty soon Lady Luck's got to come up their way. Back at Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we're in a scoreless tie. Don Criqui with Beasley Reece. The struggling Bengals right now lead the Steelers in total offense, 95 yards to 36, and in first downs, 5-2.
That is impressive. The dangerous thing for Pittsburgh is they're letting this young team hang around. The dangerous thing for Cincinnati is they keep picking on Rod Woodson. I don't know what they're thinking there, but I tell you, right now we've got a real good football game.
We do, and Klingler has settled down pretty much. Has been playing pretty solid football. Did get the 1 first down and a 4th down try. Time of possession distinctly in favor of the underdog Bengals as Coach Cowher points something out to his sideline official. Steelers unable to get much going on offense. We'll see if they can now. First down. 9:24 to go. First half. Here is a throw, and look at the catch by Eric Green. His 17th catch of the year, his first of the day, is the Steelers' biggest gainer, a 19-yard pickup. It brings them down to the 47-yard line of the Bengals.
From the right side of the screen, he comes out and runs an over route. You see his shadow. Now you see the big man. And when I say big, it's the biggest tight end in the National Football League with soft hands. He's like a moving truck at 6'5", 280 with very, very soft hands. I love the guy as a tight end. Blocks and catches.
We'll see if that gets the Steelers' offense ignited. It gets Dan Morris ready to run as he takes it down to the 41-yard line. A 241-pound running back, a first-team All-American in college last year, but drafted way down in the 3rd round because people thought maybe he wasn't fast enough.
Well, you don't have to be fast when you have great moves. Watch this 360 right. Pirouette. Right there. And that's 240 spinning, folks.
Ham getting some numbers early. He has 5 carries now for 29 yards. You call him the number 2 punch behind Barry Foster, and they go with that left hand this time and slam it right at the Bengals. And Foster Morris is down to the 40-yard line as Foster stays on the sideline with a bad knee.
You know, another thought about Foster is they didn't take him in to x-ray it, so they know it's okay. They may feel like they can win this game without risking Barry Foster. So with the little sprain, they'll just let him sit. So I don't think there's anything real bad wrong with the guy. You're seeing so many of these games when you're really hurt, they take you inside, take an x-ray.
He's out watching the game. Neil O'Donnell sets in the shotgun on 3rd down and 3. Pittsburgh is 0 for 4 so far on 3rd down conversions. Running out of time. Neil O'Donnell will run for it and get it himself. O'Donnell is ahead for a 10-yard gain. And he gets the first down, and the Steelers drive on as the clock ticks down to 7:20 to play in the half.
Boy, he's a tough guy. He's a Steeler quarterback. I love talking to him yesterday. Look how cool he is. Nothing there, so he tucks it down. Now, I'd like to see him slide a little quicker than this because he almost got a little James Francis across the head that time. That's a nice run.
Real nice run, and the Steelers now at their best penetration. O'Donnell pump faking, looks to the end zone. There's Eric Green, and he is a little bit high on his throw to Green. Stretching him out. Big fellow living dangerously, diving into the teeth of the defense is Darrell Williams and Ricardo McDonald, a big linebacker, converging on Green.
Well, that's the worst situation for a receiver. Now, Green's lined up on the right side. See 86 coming off. He's going to fake out and then go straight up the field. You saw the pump fake by Donald to try to pull him to the outside. Ricardo underneath on the top to find safety Darrell Williams. You know you're going to get hit when you get stretched out in the middle of the field.
Incomplete pass makes it 2nd down and 10. Reverse. Ernie Mills is on the run with blockers in front. He's not done as he's down inside the 15-yard line. Neil O'Donnell even got out in front and threw a block. 16-yard gain as the Steelers dip into their bag of tricks for another big gainer.
Execution, folks. You see number 29, Lewis Oliver, sneaking up. He thought it was a run to the right. Great blocking outside by this athletic offensive line. Look at the push by O'Donnell. I mean, O'Donnell didn't just get in front of a guy and feint. He locks onto him and pushes. Watch 14. This is a man-sized block. See him? He's got him and driving. Quarterback blocking. What's going on around here?
Well, the Steelers are going on right now, moving it on down the field as the handoff goes to Bam Morris. He's inside the 20. Bengals throw him back.
You better play tackle with him.
There was Tovar, 51, the young linebacker from Ohio State. Guys told us yesterday they're going to need an extra chin strap with all this hitting today.
Yeah, Tovar, and the coaches are impressed with him. They say he's playing better than they projected him to play. Larry Patello, the defensive coordinator. The man telling us that he's very impressed with young Tovar.
Dermody Dawson, the center for the Steelers, a Pro Bowler, talking about the Bengals defense, said yesterday that they run every defensive front known to man. You never know what they're going to be in. O'Donnell gets time. Bam Morris. There is that move, and Bam Morris turns it up, down, and close to a first down. Well, Barry Foster has gone to the sideline with a sprained knee, but the Steelers haven't lost a thing. With rookie Bam Morris making plays.
Well, there's no excuse for this. And watch 43, Mike Bream. It's almost he closed his eyes. It's almost like he closed his eyes. Now look at 31, Darrell Williams. He's blocked off of the play, but still, no excuse for Bream. If you're going to miss the guy, Don, you got to miss him from the outside in. You got to force him to turn in with your miss where your teammates are.
And Bam Morris over the top on 3rd and less than a yard. Looks like he's got a Steeler first down as the Bengals had their goal line defense in. So it's been Bam Morris left, Bam Morris right. Now Bam Morris over the top for the first down as the Steelers threaten to score the game's first points. Barry Foster walking well, but he does have a strained left knee. You see the brace on it as he heads to the locker room a bit early with 4:10 to go in the first half.
He'll go in and put one of those designer suits on and brush the hair, brush some waves into that hair and come back outside looking good.
O'Donnell rolling out, takes a look. He's got to get rid of it. He does, and it's off the hands of John L. Williams. And there's a penalty marker down. It's in the Steeler backfield. Could be a holding call against Pittsburgh. Donald wounded in battle here, showing some blood on his right elbow. Coach Cowher looking at the computer projection of what best to run in this down and yardage against Cincinnati.
Holding, 33, offense.
Holding on your fullback, Bam Morris, is not part of that computer projection. It'll set the Steelers back. Eric Green was running kind of free here.
Yeah, O'Donnell in trouble here, and he's looking for some help. Now watch Green comes from the same side of the field.
Where's the ball?
I'm here. But remember, the quarterback is running about half speed away from him. It's hard to throw the ball across your shoulder.
First down and goal from the 13-yard line for Pittsburgh in this scoreless game. 11th play of the drive coming up. O'Donnell to the end zone. Man is open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. John Williams dropped 2, but that one's good for a score. Ricardo McDonald covering him. John Williams, one of the best pass catchers to ever play in an NFL backfield, closing in on 500 career receptions, almost all of them with the Seattle Seahawks.
If you had this one to play again as a defensive coordinator, you'd play it zone. They're playing man for man here. They've got the inside slot double, so when you're man for man, you're going to have a linebacker covering a running back, and this running back is as good as a wide receiver.
Anderson hits the point after. It is good, and the favorite Steelers finally take the lead 7-0.
Diet Dr. Pepper, the taste you've been looking for. By Subway, the place where fresh is the taste. By the Norelco Razors, our closest shave ever. And by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century.
Got it. You know, here's a real good look at the play from on the left side of your screen. Number 22, Williams, is leaving. O'Donnell looks down the line at all of his receivers. It's man for man, so Ricardo is in a tough position against a running back who's as good as a wide receiver.
And now the kickoff, and Eric Ball runs it back to the Bengals, gets to the 20. A very good open field tackle by the Steelers, and Cincinnati has it when we come back.
Most people would.
Klingler now on the sidelines, hopefully temporarily for the Bengals. He has a little blurred vision in his right eye. And in his absence, Donald Hollis comes in. A very good young quarterback you haven't heard much about out of Rice University. He's in his 3rd year, missed all of the '93 season due to a knee injury. Hollis stands in, no time to warm up, takes a look and fires it. He is picked on the first play by LeVon Kirkland. Trying to get it to Tony McGee, his tight end, and Kirkland makes a terrific play on the ball. So Hollis, with no time to warm up, looking to throw in his first play, and the Steelers get the ball.
Well, this is one that I'm sure the offensive coaches would like to have back. A guy who has no feel for the game, no time to warm up, steps in and called upon to make a pass, and this team said it's committed to the run. I would certainly have run at least the first play for Hollis. Just let him, let him get warmed up, let him get a sense for the game. That's a tough position to be put in. Oh.
That's tough. Tried to thread it right in. It was a terrific play by Kirkland, a diving interception. Now let's see if the Steelers can convert it into points. Trick play flicker. O'Donnell takes a look. Nobody's open. He's running out of time. And he runs out of bounds. Bengals not fooled.
Very well defended in the secondary. And when Pittsburgh has had a little success running the ball, so this should have gotten more of a reaction. But look how quickly the defensive backs snuff it out and take off running with the wide receivers. That's a great job by the secondary. Ron Meeks is the secondary coach for Cincinnati. Maybe something they've worked on. There's David Klingler. He put his helmet on like he was going to be ready to come in maybe the next play or so.
Bengals now trying to dodge this bullet. O'Donnell takes a look, swings it out, and the big guy, Eric Green, running down the near sideline, has a first down and more. He's down to the 16-yard line. James Francis runs him out of bounds, but he does it after a 14-yard gain.
Lined up on the right side of your screen. You can't miss him. He's 280 pounds. Disappears for a second, goes down and breaks out immediately. And, when you tackle him, watch how you have to ride. Grab on, ride, and just kind of ride the big man.
Now, this is a linebacker that weighs almost 260 pounds.
Uh-oh. Looks like Eric Green might have hurt his hand or his wrist when he was cow roped by Francis.
To the run they go. John L. Williams, last time he touched it, you remember, was the touchdown reception for the only points of this game. This time on first down, he runs it inside the 15-yard line. As we're winding down very close to the 2-minute warning here at Three River Stadium. Bill Cowher gave his Steelers 3 days off during their bye week. A lot of them went home to different parts of the country. And as we wind down to 2 minutes, we break for these words. Neil O'Donnell with a history of good games against the Bengals. He's 5-0 as a starter against Cincinnati. Up to a good start today. 7 of 12 for 84 yards in the touchdown throw to John L. Williams on the Steelers' last possession that's given them their current 7-0 lead. 2nd and 6 for Pittsburgh as they threaten again after Levon Kirkland's interception of Donald Hollis. Williams. He's not fooling Alfred Williams. John L. Williams taken down by Alfred Williams of the Bengals.
Watch Eric Green. You know, we've been talking about him. Just keep your eye on him. And the left hand side, upside down.
That's illegal now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's illegal now. Yes, it is.
That wasn't exactly subtle either.
Wow. And, you know, and this is the guy that just hurt his wrist. That was a country roundhouse. That was from the woods.
Yeah. O'Donnell on 3rd down. They need 10. And out Cannon. He's got Eric Green, and he's ahead for a 1st down. Inside the 5-yard line. He's down to the 3.
He can do it all.
He can.
He'll hit you in the head.
Yes, sir.
He'll catch the ball. He'll block you. He can do everything. I don't know why they don't cover the guy. Nobody ever covers him. Look at it. You know, you look at the size of his hips.
Nobody wants to cover him. You got to hit him if you cover him.
You know, you look at that and you say, now, there's no way we have to cover him. That's a tackle.
Well, they list him at what, 286, but we don't know. We could be talking 300 pounds of tight end, and he can run.
That's right. You could be looking at 300. They never cover him.
Ooh, a ball on the field. Van Morris lost it. He got it back. But he got it back at the 14-yard line. First pitch back play to Van Morris backfires on the Steelers. And the game clock now down to 57 seconds to go in the first half and ticking.
Well, everything working perfectly until that little snafu. Boy, he's lucky to get that one back.
Moving on him quickly was Lewis Oliver, the former Dolphin. Oliver's down now. He's being
We have an injury inside of 2 minutes. By rule, that's a charge timeout. Cincinnati.
You heard the explanation from referee Johnny Greer, and so with a break on the field, the score remains Pittsburgh 7, the Bengals nothing. Up. Don Criqui with Beasley Reece back at Three Rivers Stadium, a bright sunny October day here in the western part of Pennsylvania. As we remind you at halftime, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Gumbel, Ditka, and Gibbs standing by. A report on Joe Montana, who got banged around the last time out as the Chiefs have now lost 2 straight games. Here's O'Donnell looking into the end zone. He has him in. Touchdown. Threading it in to Ernie Mills. A 14-yard scoring throw as Mills makes the big play. He was completely open over the middle, Beasley.
Boy, as a defensive back, you hate it when guys that right at the end of the play, everybody starts looking at one another. Was that your man, my man? Whose man was that? Obviously a breakdown in the secondary. Wide open receiver and a great throw by O'Donnell. Recognizes the breakdown and hits it.
The extra point by Anderson is up and good. And the Steelers, who struggled through a quarter and a half, have now taken command of the game, capitalizing on the interception to extend their lead to 14-0. O'Donnell now in his 6th game against Cincinnati has thrown 12 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions over that time.
Well, right down the gut, right down the middle of the field, you see Ernie Mills coming in with no one covering him. And when Darrell Williams comes over, he looks up and tries to find his teammates to say, what in the world? Whose man was that? Little elevation. Slam dunk with basketball in exhibition season.
As the Bengals now, Beasley, they're forced out of that hoped-for running plan. Run the ball, they hope. Maintain the ball. They had 3 times the offense of the Steelers through a quarter and a half of this game. Now they got to come out pitching because they're down 14-0. 42 seconds to go in the first half. Anderson kicks off. A high-spinning kick. Eric Paul comes over to field it at the 11-yard line. He's taken down at the 18. Free ball. Yancey Thigpen, who continues to make big plays. He's now made 2 consecutive kickoff tackles for inside the 20-yard line, which is the hoped-for area the kick covers like to make the knockdown. That's a win for the defense.
That's David Klingler. He'll have to try to recreate some of the heroics of his days at the University of Houston. If this game gets any further out of hand, 14-0, he'll have to throw a couple up in the air. Maybe not here with only a few seconds left in the half.
3 wide receivers in the game for Cincinnati. They go to the run, Broussard, and the Steelers aren't buying it. They stay home. Brenston Buckner, their number 2 draft choice, who hasn't played a whole lot this season. Number 96 made the stop.
Well, I think they should definitely do exactly what they're doing. There's no reason to make any mistakes here. You know, 14-0, you can go in the half and talk about some things, maybe come out and get a touchdown. With just a few seconds left, I would just run the clock out. No interceptions by this Pittsburgh defense, who is expecting you to pass.
Klingler dumps it off. Broussard running ahead. He is.
Oh, what a hit.
That's your man, Greg Lloyd.
He didn't avoid Lloyd.
There was some of that taekwondo hit. So the Steelers do very nicely in the second quarter, extending their lead to 14-0 as David Shula's Bengals 0-5 and looking at 0-6. We'll be back after these messages at the halftime report. Try to come out of their whole offense and just start gambling with big plays, or
I really don't think so, Don. The Cincinnati Bengals are a wounded football team. The offensive line has been shuffled around 3 times. It's very, very difficult for them to get anything going. It's almost like a wait till next year when we can buy some offensive linemen.
Good to see, as we look at the Coors Light halftime statistics, that David Klingler, with his blurred vision in one eye, is all right now and is returning to the game.
Yeah, the 1 turnover leading to the touchdown that we showed you. And other than that, everything is not that out of whack. The total yards are in favor of Pittsburgh for good reason.
For a quarter and a half, the Bengals solidly outplayed the Steelers, and then the better team took over and scored twice in the second quarter to take the lead. Here's Broussard breaking open. So very quick, Broussard breaking across the 30 and out to the 32-yard line. Deion Figures makes the stop on him.
And, you know, this time the offensive line is able to collapse the defensive line of Pittsburgh down to the inside, cuts inside of Green, and really the rest of it is just good individual effort. That's one of the better running plays by Cincinnati so far today.
The Bengals have one of the best offensive trusts in the league as far as offensive know-how in Poslet and Anderson. They can get tight enough to blocking, and they've done much better. Klingler's not been sacked today. Here is a handoff straight ahead. Gerald Green takes the handoff and gets to the 35, which is certainly a tribute to offensive line coach Jim McNally of the Bengals, who's long been regarded as one of the best in football. But his troops are really depleted because of injuries this season.
Take a look at the effort here. Little hop. See, everything's collapsing very quickly. Really, it's a makeshift offensive line, and that's the problem that Cincinnati is having.
It is a first down for the Bengals. With a deep drop, throws it and makes the connection as a tight end, Troy Sadowski, comes over the middle and gets the ball out to the 42-yard line.
You know, Klingler hasn't had a lot to pick from. Everybody that he's thrown to has been covered very well. This is a very, very good defense. And look at the coverage right there. It is completely tight. I mean, Carnell Lake is all over the guy, and Klingler has to put it to the outside away from the defender. That's a perfect throw.
They're going to launch to Darnay Scott before long. He's at the top of your screen. The rookie who came in with an over 20-yard per catch average. He's made some nice plays in the first half. Caught 3 on Rod Woodson. Gerald Green works hard to get to the line of scrimmage, and those very quick backers for the Steelers, led by 95, Greg Lloyd, make the knockdown for no gain.
Well, I would not want to be a running back for the Cincinnati Bengals anytime this season. Like I said, they've reshuffled this offensive line 3 times, and no matter what you do, I mean, you can't coach what you don't have, and they've got to get their people healthy, and they've got to get some more people in here on the offensive line.
Bengals continue their fourth third-down conversion. They're only 1 of 6 today. They were the worst in the league coming in. Klingler's letting it go. There's Darnay Scott. And he's got the ball down to the 17-yard line. And there's a penalty marker after the play on the defense as the rookie. We've been waiting for him to break the big one, and finally they go deep to him the first time they do. A 43-yard gain with more to come on the penalty.
I'm afraid to say this. The guy has caught about 5 passes on the best cornerback in the National Football League.
First down.
He goes up in a man for man, competing for the football against one of the greatest athletes in football, and comes down with it, pointing at his face mask. Darnay Scott was worried about facing this guy in our meeting, and man, he come out and done a job.
What a draft choice at the second round. And the penalty marker was down for a face mask call on Rod Woodson. So the Bengals drive on. Broussard up the middle, and he takes it down to the 7-yard line. That was, you talk about momentum builders, that was certainly one for this young Bengal team.
That's exactly what they needed. It's also what David Klingler needs. You know, he's trying to convince his coaching staff, let me air it out. That's what I do best. And there's a little notch in his belt. There's one for his side of the conversation.
Coach Shula finally sees his offense break the big play. Darnay Scott goes wide to the left. At the top of your screen, in motion, Harold Green. Klingler with a drop, a good blitz pickup by Penner as he was taught to do. David Klingler sees nobody open, the pass rush coming, so he throws it and hits the outfield wall.
Well, I love it when they do that, and he probably learned that from Kenny Anderson. I mean, that's a smart move by the young quarterback. Kevin Green, one of my favorite linebackers, with an inside push. He'll spin out of this thing and then put some pressure on Klingler, forcing him to get rid of it.
A huge third down play. The Bengals came in averaging only 24% third down conversions, worse in the NFL. In the first half, they converted only 17%. And then when this game was threatening to be out of reach, they hit a 43-yard pass play to Darnay Scott on third down, and now they try to go in for the touchdown. Here is Klingler looking. He throws. There's a man out there, but they overshoot, and the coverage was good. Moving with him was Carnell Lake, the strong safety. Tim McGee was running an out pattern in the end zone. That brings up fourth down. They've got to send out the field goal team. Indianapolis has gone up on Buffalo Beasley 17-10.
Well, both of those are tricky teams, Indianapolis and Buffalo. You never know really what you're going to get. I mean, Indy's a fun team to watch with Marshall Faulk.
It'll be a 25-yard field goal for Doug Pelfrey. Oh, big play. They go up the middle and they score a touchdown. Jeff Cothran. It was funny in the meetings yesterday. Both Bruce Cothran and David Shula said you'll see Jeff Cothran tomorrow. So a backup fullback who hasn't carried the ball much, so we sure saw Jeff Cothran. They didn't tell us how we'd see him.
Well, we saw him in the best and most creative way possible. The ball is down. Here comes Cothran folding around. What a play. And then he, just like a male bull, just leans inside. Oh, I love it when they do that.
The extra point by Pelfrey is up and good, and all of a sudden the underdog Bengals are back in the game. Jeff Cothran, a moment in the sun here at Three Rivers Stadium as in a blocking position, a beautifully executed play by the Cincinnati Bengals. Their holder, Lee Johnson, on a call play, pitching it ahead. It's really a touchdown pass from Lee Johnson to Cothran. The way it's scored. The forward pass.
When you look at this play, you see Cothran on the right side of your screen as the up back, number 46. Lee Johnson's going to put the ball down and watch the perfect pitch to Cothran as he comes around from the backside, and then the surprised Pittsburgh defense can only watch as the big man rumbles inside him. And Don, you know what he did after that touchdown? He went back to being just another guy on the team, lined up on the kickoff and covered it. You know, that's a play that David Shula has got to rubber stamp. No offensive coordinator, no offensive coach can call a play like that without checking with him first, and that's a gutsy call.
And I'll guarantee you'll see it turn up somewhere else in the league. Here's a diving catch by Eric Green across the 35-yard line.
This guy's phenomenal.
His hands are like flypaper. Everything that's near him sticks. 16-yard gain. He hit his head, though, on the turf, Beasley, when he came down with the ball.
Well, this guy is absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the best tight end talents in the league. Great hands.
Jeff Cothran, a rookie Buckeye. He's from Ohio State with the touchdown.
There's one of the best tight ends in the game, big Eric Green, who came around and just caught a great pass. And the Cincinnati defense is not stupid. He's on the left side of your screen. Number 29, Lewis Oliver's got him man for man. He cuts in, and every catch he makes seems to be these diving over-the-shoulder type things. And remember, folks, you're talking 280. And we're talking listed at 280. He might be 297 and a half. Great hands.
Name a number, he might be that. First and 10 for O'Donnell and the Steelers. They go to the run. Here's Van Morris. And a very well-executed open field tackle is coming off the corner to make the play with Rod Jones. He was the #1 draft choice of Tampa Bay a few years back.
Rod is a very fast guy, probably best known for running down Bo Jackson a few years ago. Bo with all that speed, but Rod came into the league known as a speedster. Still runs well.
That was where Bo hurt his hip, wasn't it?
That wasn't the exact play, but later that season he did hurt his hip.
Here is the throw down over the middle, and the ball is caught again, this time by John L. Williams out to the 44-yard line. An 8-yard gain. John Jackson, a strong offensive tackle, blocking hard.
Take a look at his position. Good feet. Good balance. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
They've got some linemen. This is my favorite offensive line, Don. You know that.
Yeah, they're good.
Very athletic.
Duval Love told us yesterday we can be as good as we want to be. His handle is there. Pitch out. And Williams turns the corner with a blocker, and Darrell Williams comes across to knock him down. There's a first down gain on the play. A gain of 10 yards, 8 yards on the play, out to the 48-yard line of Cincinnati.
Now you see everybody look at 72 Leon Searcy. Look how quickly a big man at 304 gets in front of his runner. That's why I like this offensive line. It's a great play. Very quickly executed. Pitch out to John L. and good game.
The Steelers, their lead cut to 7. 14-7 is the score, third quarter. Go to first down. Van Morris breaks it free. Here's a penalty marker. Quite probably a holding call against the Steelers. The umpire fired it in from behind the linebacker. Holding is the call against Pittsburgh. Play comes back.
Things got bottled up real tight in there when Van Morris comes out of there. And sometimes when a play doesn't look quite right, it's not quite
Holding.
right.
67, offense. Still first down.
The aforementioned Duval Love called for holding.
Now, Duval is working on Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson here at 99. And I guess sometimes when you're working on that much man, you have to grab on just a little bit.
With that takedown, Steelers head back to their 42-yard line. First down and 20. Play fake. O'Donnell sets up the screen. The ball is dropped by Williams. John L., normally sure-handed receivers, had a couple of drops today, but he also had the first touchdown reception of the day. Eight minutes to go in the third quarter as Ron Earhart checks the play list.
Trying to figure out what to do. He's got his big tight end, Eric Green, back in the game.
See Eric back in the game.
Split out wide like a little wide receiver.
Got him flexed out. O'Donnell with a deep drop, and Alfred Williams has his second sack of the day. Big pass rusher from Colorado. He's entitled.
Well, let's call it the chest pop. Now, if you do that right over a guy, it's topping. Yeah, so what you have to do is you have to walk away and then do your thing. There he comes from the backside.
He just did his thing right there. That's Neil O'Donnell. The Bengals, with only 3 sacks in the first 5 games, have 2 already today. O'Donnell in trouble now. He swings it out of the swing pass to John L. Williams. Well executed, but the knockdown is made on a 3rd and 29 play. Way short of a first down. The Steelers have to punt the ball, and the Bengals will get it back. I know, Beasley, you're a great believer. You played on the defenses with the Giants when LT was there, Lawrence Taylor. How one great player makes everybody else better. I want to talk to you a little bit about how the Bengal now is in disarray on the field, but finally the punt is kicked off, and there's no penalties. Rocketed downfield. Bengals offensive line is really a lot responsible for it was the retirement of Munoz, the greatest tackle maybe ever. Necessary roughness, that's tonight on NBC. Tomorrow night, the Fresh Prince gets a visit from the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's a special Fresh Prince defensive coordinator of the Bengals. That's probably one he drew up, that Cothran touchdown reception from Lee Johnson, the holder.
Well, that was a great one. Bruce has got his hands full.
That was a huge play, but equally big was the 3rd and 4, where they went deep 43 yards, and Darnay Scott, the rookie, caught the first down pass on Rod Woodson, his 5th catch of the day for Scott. And that set up first score of the day for the Cincinnati Bengals. We trail with 6:54 to go in the 3rd quarter, 14-7. Broussard looking for somewhere to go. Built close to the ground. That old shoot low, they're riding Shetland ponies.
This is another one of those misdirection plays that we were warned against. You see 91 Green pinching on the inside. They thought they could bounce outside of it. One of the misdirection plays we were told that Cincinnati may try. We saw one reverse, and then we saw that little lead left and break right.
2nd and 8. Max protection, extra blockers in. Klingler, a good play fake, buys some time. He looks. Whoa, he's looking at Tim McGee, and close to the ball was Rod Woodson. He's almost had 2 today. But, you know, you're talking about Anthony Munoz, a great left tackle, is now retired for the Bengals. They talk about when he played, he would take the best pass rusher on the other team completely out of the game. Then the Bengals would block 4 on 3. And they subsequently had the best offense in the NFL a couple of years.
Yeah, well, when you have a great player like that, he can give you, it's a great luxury. Rod Woodson should have had 1 interception for a touchdown, and without question should have had that one.
Lloyd looks like he's going to blitz. He backs off. Klingler stands in. He throws. He's got Broussard. Somehow he finds a way clear for a few yards, but not enough for the first down. It was again the omnipresent number 26 of the Steelers, Rod Woodson, who knocked him down.
There's not a lot of targets for Klingler to hit here. I'm telling you, and I'm standing about 4 stories up looking at the entire football field, and everybody's covered. This is a great defense. And this is a football team that'll be a factor going down the stretch in this game.
The touchdown thrower with the underhand pitch. Lee Johnson now punts the ball. Woodson pops it up. Hobart comes in and just flames out Deion Figures, who picked it up. Above all, Rod Woodson is daring.
Rod Woodson is just a little bit off today. You remember he dropped a punt earlier and it bounced right back up in his hand.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got some nerve. This takes courage. Oh boy. Rod Woodson, the best cornerback in the National Football League, is having a bad day at work. Now, he should have run back further to get under this ball. He tried to catch it over his head. That's one reason for the drop. Now, he's dropped 2 interceptions, fumbled a punt, but I bet he makes a play before it's over.
We have a long way to go before it's over. 5:22 left to play in the game. O'Donnell on first down. There's a deep. a reception to the protest of Coach Shula of the Bengals.
No.
Charles Johnson gets his first of the day.
No. Coach Shula should walk over there and applaud. That was a great catch and a great hit by Oliver. You talk about take nerve. You get hit in the mouth and make that catch, and Lewis Oliver has been a knockout artist for forever in the National Football League. That's unbelievable. You know, when you drive a guy out of bounds, it is still a reception. That's a great catch.
Turns it, and he's out to the 48-yard line. Excuse me, Bam Morris turns it out and gets to the 48. The 33 of the Steelers has been quiet for a while after a good first quarter. Barry Foster, their top runner, out with a sprained knee, but not expected to be out for long. He won't play again today.
Bam with a little blocking in front of him, but the rest of it is on his own. See, you can do that when you weigh 240.
And he has taken that 240 and carried it for 33 yards and 11 carries. Another call to Bam Morris on 2nd down and 1. He's close to the first down. Bill Cowher talking things over with those good outside linebackers, Kevin Green to the left and Greg Lloyd.
Cowher was a dangerous linebacker in his own right.
He was. Came to the fore as a special teams player.
It takes a special kind of guy to be a special team starter. You got to be a little crazy.
The NFL returns to NBC next Sunday. The Cleveland Browns, who are keeping the pressure on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, right now, a game and a half behind the 5-1 Browns. Cleveland will be home to play the Cincinnati Bengals, while the Steelers head into Giants Stadium to meet the New York Giants. That's next Sunday. NFL Live begins at 12:30 Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Steelers ready to move it out after the big catch by Charles Johnson. The run by Bam Morris. First down, here's a blitz, and Ovar comes up the middle. Also coming was Ricardo McDonald, but it was Tovar, the Buckeye from Ohio State in his second year, untouched up the gut.
Now, this is about the 5th front I've seen so far. This is a 4-3 with the middle linebacker being Tovar this time, coming straight up the middle. And that's the reason that we were told by Larry Patello that he runs so many fronts. It forces the offense to prepare for too many things, and you hope to get a mistake. There's Larry right there, and it worked for him that time. So he goes from the 4-3 to he's back in the 4-3 this time also.
Handoff goes to Bam Morris. Whatever, you could hear it up here. 75 yards from the field.
Ricardo McDonald with a good smack on Bam.
He was a product of the University of Pittsburgh, Ricardo McDonald. His brother's a good linebacker, a starter for the Indianapolis Colts.
Listen to this now. How'd you like to be at the end of this?
That'll be up here.
Woo, baby. Oh, boy, that'll shake you up.
Blowing the play up. Makes it 3rd down and 21 for the Steelers at their 40. What a catch.
The man's unreal.
He really is fantastic. He's short of a first down, though, and the Steelers have to punt.
Wow.
Lewis Oliver and Darrell Williams, the Bengals safeties, converged on him.
This is great blocking now. My man has all day long, steps up and throws a bullet into a 280-pound tight end. That Eric Green is beautiful.
Nice punt. The punt by Royals, a Bearcat signal for it to hit a Steelers helmet. And it'll be down at the spot to hit the helmet. Dwight Stone was down under it. Now there's a penalty marker after the play.
That was like a comedy. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. Did you see those 2 punt returners?
Yeah. Knocking each other down.
That's unreal.
How about Dwight Stone running down to cover and the ball hits him in the head?
Oh, boy. Somebody's got to say, I got it. See, look at them. Both of them saying, I got it. No, you. Whoa! Come on, fella. My son is 9 years old. I see that kind of play up at the Pee Wee League.
There's a special teams coach for the Bengals, Marv Braden.
There is no infraction on the play. Both players of the receiving team fell down.
Did they ever?
Yeah, I think we saw that one.
We picked up on that.
Look at this.
And that's
Liberty Mutual Insurance.
with Beasley, Reece. This is Don Criqui back at Three River Stadium, where we just saw a play that won't go into the Bengals highlight reel, but they do have the ball after their kick returners bumped into each other, their punt returners. Now they go 1st and 10, trailing by 7. Markers come in, both from the referee, from behind the QB, and from the umpire, from behind the linebackers. Here's Johnny Greer.
Holding, 73. Offense is declined. 2nd down.
So Coach Shula sees his team misfire on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 1:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Steelers lead the game 14-7. Greg Lloyd was on the job again, getting to the quarterback Klingler just as he released the ball.
Well, that was a lucky play for Cincinnati, because this entire thing is collapsing very quickly around Klingler, and then he's hit once again. That's the 2nd time Lloyd has hit his arm as he's been holding it out there, and that time it luckily falls to the ground for the Cincinnati Bengals.
3rd down. The Steelers are lining like they're going to blitz, and Klingler calls a timeout.
Timeout, Cincinnati. Number 1. This will be a 40-second timeout.
The first of their allotted 3 timeouts now taken by Klingler and the Bengals. Coming up next here on NBC, don't miss the exciting conclusion of the Skills Challenge.
Very risky game he has.
He does stuff I don't think anybody else can do. I do some stuff on inner city kids with golf and him.
Oh, yeah, he does great stuff.
And there's Ricardo McDonald now with a strained left knee, similar to the one suffered by the Steeler Barry Foster in the 1st quarter. You can take a ball and bounce it up and down on the face of a wedge, and then get it spinning and get it stopped spinning on the club. He said only one other man in the world can do it, his brother.
I can bounce it, but I can't stop it.
Klingler throws. Too much lead on it for Darnay Scott. And Klingler is level just as he releases the ball by big Kevin Green.
I think Kevin Green said a couple things, too, before he got up. Kevin Green's a tough guy.
Like, I'll be back. Say, these pass rushers now, they don't just try to knock him down. They try to knock him through the turf.
Yeah, Kevin Green's got a lot of Hulkamania in him.
He looks a little like Hulk Hogan.
Like the Hulkster, yeah.
Terrific punt by Lee Johnson. He just got it off. Woodson goes back. There's a penalty marker down. Woodson crosses the 40, and this is the man that Sam White called the best kick returner I'll ever see. Robbie April, the special teams coach of the Steelers, they're going to have to suit him up one of these weeks. He's going to be out on the field.
He's pumped up, isn't he? And he has reason to be.
Definitely a man they should give pads and a hat to and get him out there.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield.
There you go.
The left side of the line is declined. 1st down.
The man that Rod Woodson, that White's called the best kick returner he'll ever see, Rod Woodson.
Boy, he gets blocking, people coming back, Gary Jones coming back to everybody, everywhere. That's just a great run. I tell you, the guy is the best.
And we met with Rod Woodson about the key to being a great kick returner. He said, number one, go as fast as you can as soon as you get the ball. You can't wait for blockers to form. You take off with it.
Yeah, you know, I asked him the question, Don, and I was looking for a little wisdom, you know, and he said, take it and run fast. Okay, thank you.
Don't wait for anything to form. He said, so many guys out there that'll get to you. And Morris. And goes boom down to the 21-yard line as the Steelers are challenging to build on their 14-7 lead with 1:13 to go in the third quarter. Watch Duval Love pull out and lead the blockers.
Well, it is the most athletic offensive line in the game. Derek Brilt, 65, bouncing out there and pushing.
They're all out front.
Boy, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Dermontti Dawson is so quick. They're Pro Bowl center for the Steelers, 63, that he is one of the few centers that can get out in front of a sweep. He can snap the ball and get out in front of it. He's doing it right now. What a block by Dawson. Penalty marker comes in, and Morris carries again, and the penalty marker will stop the clock with 49 seconds to go in the third quarter. You are right. This should be your favorite offensive line, this Pittsburgh line, Beasley.
Well, Don, you called it when you talked about Dermontti. Look at the center. Snaps and then folds around and knocks off the linebacker.
85, offense, still second down.
Steeler coaches already projecting towards what could be a huge game on their schedule, December 18th, when the Browns come to Pittsburgh. Bill Cowher said Cleveland doesn't look like a team that's going to lose many. He's hoping they can go in at least no more than one game behind Cleveland, because they've already beaten the Browns. If they could do it again, they would beat them on a tied record on head-to-head competition, but that's a long way off. Right now, Cleveland has a game-and-a-half lead with a 5-1 record. Having won on Thursday night at Houston.
Number
now,
one.
Neil O'Donnell wants a timeout.
40-second timeout.
They want to make sure this opportunity pays off in points.
They had a little mix-up that time. Hastings, the wide receiver, was running onto the field late. Had 10 men on the field.
And that gives us a chance to remind you that tonight it's an NBC family double feature.
That show.
They tried a kicker, a woman kicker at Duke.
Yeah, she almost made it, too. They told her to come back next week and try again.
Want to get a little more leg strength for the field goal. Hitting extra points, making them automatic. Duke woman soccer player. O'Donnell takes a look. Lofts it out. John Hayes with his first catch of the day. He fumbled it. He did indeed. Ball on the field. Bengals aim to have it. They do. Cincinnati stops the Pittsburgh drive as Jonathan Hayes with his first catch of the day. Corey Sawyer, the rookie from Florida State. He's been a good acquisition, this kid.
Oh, yeah. Great return, man, and comes up with a little help there.
In his joy, he kicked the ball almost out of the end zone. Getting great second looks here as you see the ball coughed up. Corey Sawyer comes over. He gets it. And when he gets up, he boots it. We go back to live action now. Bengals with the ball. First down and 10, trailing by 7. Going and catching a big hit by the Steelers. Woodson makes the play, hitting the big tight end, Tony McGee.
Woodson is like a cat on plays like that. He just sees it all so quickly.
That'll conclude the three quarters of play here at Three River Stadium. The Steeler defense looking more and more like the steel curtain of years ago. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. We're ready to start the fourth quarter on a beautiful October day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Don Criqui with Beasley Reece. Three River Stadium sold out again. The Steelers trying to extend their win streak over rival Cincinnati to 7 straight. Bengals trailing by 7. They just dodged the bullet after a great kick return by Rod Woodson, a punt return. A fumble. Here's one. Now it's incomplete pass that is ruled, and there's also a marker down in the Bengals backfield.
The Bengals had two or three people in motion that time.
You're only allowed one.
Yeah, unless you're playing Canadian ball.
Well, the one big play offense they have there is big play man. Darnay Scott.
Yeah.
It's going to go downfield to him before long.
The penalty is declined. Third down.
Watch Chad Brown make this break. Boom. Separation. Separation.
Boy, this is just great. That's Pickens from Tennessee going up, getting his first of the day. Carl Pickens, who is a 7-foot high jumper in high school, makes a 23-yard gain going up over the defense as they're now doubling up Darnay Scott.
And for good reason they're doubling Darnay. You see Pickens on the outside. Watch him elevate. You see, that was nothing for a 7-foot high jumper. He only had to jump up about 3 feet that time. Good catch and a big, big play to get the first down.
Cincinnati with a high-power array of wide receivers. In McGee may have lost his step, but the young players, Pickens and Scott, making plays. Now the run is stuffed. Derek Fenner hit head-on by Kevin Green. As we go to NFL Live in New York. Here's Greg Gumbel.
Don, in Miami, quarterback Jeff Hostetler was yanked at the end of the first half, but he's back in for the second half and leads the Raiders on a drive. He completed 4 of 5 for 60 yards, including the 8-yard touchdown pass to Timmy Brown. The Raiders lead the Dolphins 17-10 in the third, Don.
Thanks, Greg. And back to Three River Stadium. Second down and 12 for the Bengals. They're trying to set up the screen. They do. Broussard is caught. Greg Lloyd with an all-pro play. That's why he heads to Hawaii every February.
Well, that time Cincinnati was simply unlucky. It was a man-for-man coverage because it was a blitz. And as a result, all Lloyd had to do was follow his man, which is the running back. Look at the top of your screen. You'll see Cornell Lake, number 37, blitzing. There his head is. Lloyd has Broussard man for man, and the play carries him right to his man.
Lloyd fired by tremendous pride. He was in a high school graduating class of about 300. He was in the top 10 people. And now he can't make a play here as they go right to the middle to Derek Fenner on just a straight draw play.
It was like it was a train track right up the middle.
Lloyd will spend his off day Tuesday, spending at least 2 hours with his Taekwondo instructor. Hurry up offense now as the Bengals quickly go into alignment to punt the ball. Steelers got their man back, and this is Rod Woodson. Next time he'll let it hop, and it takes a Pittsburgh Bengal hop inside the 5-yard line where it's down. And so, as the ball is downed on the play by Brett Wallerstedt, we take a break for this word.
There's Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson on the bench sitting this one out. First-round draft choice. First of everything.
Hand off. Sam Morris breaks it up the middle. Both hands on the ball, protecting it. He's out to the 15-yard line. He has a first down for the Steelers.
And that was right over the spot where Big Daddy would have been. Big Daddy hasn't been making a whole lot of big plays, but the coaches do say they're satisfied with the push and his effort. Big Daddy taking a little blow, and that's right where Big Daddy would be standing, where Bam crashes through. And Bam, you got to play tackle with Bam. You can't play touch.
No way. Steelers now at the 118 yards rushing, well below their NFL leading 156 yards per game. They average running the ball. While we have a moment, let's go back for another update to Greg in New York.
All right, Don, big upset happening in Buffalo. Don Mikowski on for injured Jim Harbaugh of the Colts. 19 yards to Floyd Turner, his second TD catch of the day. Colts haven't won in Buffalo in 7 years, but they lead this one 27-10 in the fourth quarter. Don?
Thanks, Greg. Great numbers by Harbaugh, the former Bear, a conservative passer. Not many deep throws like that one, but he grades out among the best in the NFL in the passer ratings. Second mate for the Steelers, holding to a 7-point lead. Under duress is O'Donnell, and Alfred Williams gets in for the third time. Alfred Williams. His third sack of the day.
He added a little something to his dance, I believe.
Yes, he's entitled.
Well, you know, with the first sack, you get the one chest pump.
Yeah.
Second sack, you get the double pump. And the third sack is he runs right between Duvall Love and Brilt. That's just a great, great effort. My goodness.
Alfred Williams with 3 sacks today, and that equals the total that the Bengal defense had for the first 5 games of the season.
They're coming.
General Williams gets him.
Oh, boy.
Secatello's turning them loose.
The Boo Birds are out.
And you got to salute the Cincinnati defense. It's great football.
This is great football. Great calls. And he just barely missed knocking that ball free. Oh, man. Talk about field position.
Royals hits another good punt. Going back for it is Corey Sawyer. He's terrific. He leads the AFC in punt returns, almost 20 yards of punt return coming into this game. So the Bengals down by just 7 with 10 minutes to play. Now start out with excellent field position at the Pittsburgh 36. Neil O'Donnell feeling the heat of an all-out Cincinnati blitz and pass rush. They're getting a lot of sacks today, has Cincinnati. A total of 6. They had only 3 in the first 5 games of the season. Alfred Williams alone had 3 sacks of O'Donnell. First and 10 for the Bengals. Down by 7 with 10 minutes to play. Quick out. Pickens gets ahead to the 30-yard line, where Rod Woodson makes one of the 100 or so plays he's made today.
He's been involved in a lot of them. See, what he does is he reads the quarterback. As soon as he sees him stop on a little one-step drop, he comes flying up, throws his body into Carl's leg. That'll hurt. And he'd run like a little stop and go on Woodson.
They tried it. Klingler takes a look. Now he takes it ahead and gets inside the 30. On a 2nd down and 6 play, he's ahead for maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd and 4. Got about 2 where they're going to spot the ball.
Well, they tried it. They tried to stop and go. Now watch this. See him pump, but when he sees that Woodson is all standing in front of him, he's got nowhere to go. I tell you what, I don't think Pickens knew the play, because Pickens went straight down the block. Klingler wanted to stop and go after running the stop to set it up.
Blitz. Klingler stands in. He's got room to run. He throws on the run, but he's got too much on it. And Carl Pickens can't get to the ball. As Darnay Scott, who's played superbly, is now feeling a double pressure defense on every down. David Shula thinking over the play call, getting some input from Bruce Coslett upstairs.
Well, this could be anything. It could be a field goal. It could be a fake. It could be sweet.
Last field goal like this we saw was a touchdown pass. Pelfrey hits the ball hard and well. He drives it through from 47 yards out.
What a leg.
And with a lot of time left, 8:48 to go, the underdog Bengals inch closer. They're down 14 to 10. Lee Johnson ready to kick it off after Doug Pelfrey hit a 47-yard field goal for Cincinnati. They got the Steelers lead to 14 to 10 with 8:48 to play. Rod Woodson, who must get 2 or 3 paychecks a week as he plays that.
He plays everything.
Back to return the kick. Angled upfield, and they get it to an up man. Coming back with the ball is Dwight Stone, who might be the fastest Steeler, and he's across the 35-yard line out to the 36.
The long ranger, Doug Pelfrey's got 2 49-yarders, one against Cleveland, one against Houston, make it a 47-yarder against Pittsburgh for the score, and watch him just bank it right off the
Oh! Little English, little bank shot.
Yeah, right off the upright.
Hey, he's strong. He's got a strong leg. And watch him help. He's going to have to help this one. Oh, there we go.
The Bengals get a break and 3 points. Neil O'Donnell and the Steelers go to work. First and 10, O'Donnell looking to throw. Here comes the rush. It's Stetson 6 times. Now 7, he loses the ball. Oh, boy. Can't hold out the Bengals. No, Ricardo McDonald. That's good to see Ricardo back because not that long ago he had ice on his left knee.
Ricardo's going to come from the other side and just keep hustling. And hustling. Tell you what, you're right. That's pretty good to have a sore knee and then come sprinting through there. Pecatello's been calling the right blitzes at the right time, the right zones at the right time. You know, he's hot. Sometimes, you know, your defensive coordinator has to be hot. He's on.
Yeah, he's on is right. That was the 7th sack of this day for the Cincinnati defense, which came in far and away last in sacks in the NFL with just 3 in 5 games.
He wanted to average 3 a game. He's going to pick that average up after today.
O'Donnell stands in. He throws it. Slapped back by Steve Tovar, the middle linebacker. That gives us a chance to go back to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, down at the Meadowlands, former New York Jet Blair Thomas returns and from 4 yards out helps the Patriots move to within a touchdown of the Jets at 21-14 New York in the 4th quarter, Don.
And that's something. Thomas finally playing, the former great Penn Stater. An injury-troubled pro career as he's in the end zone against his team, the team that drafted him number 2 overall a few years ago, the Jets. 8 sacks. Alfred Williams got his 4th. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, look at him hold the 4. Look at him.
1, 2, whatever he'd like.
You know, it's time for us to start. Look at that.
He can do a Carmen Miranda samba out there if he'd like.
He can moonwalk off of this court if he wants to now.
He moved! He moved!
Now, Derek Thomas at Kansas City had how many one day? He had 6, I believe.
May have been
False
7.
start.
You think it was 7?
94. Offense.
I'll tell you, we
Go
better
forth there.
start watching this.
Check the record books.
Yeah, we'll check the record books to keep a count. We could have a record in the making. For Alfred, that's 4 sacks for minus 32 yards. It's the Williams show.
And for the Bengal team, 8 sacks, including Alfred's. And the Steelers have to punt again. The Bengals need a touchdown, though. The field goal would get them closer. There's still a substantial amount of time. 7:23 left to play. A 6-yard punt. And there's a penalty marker down also at the line of scrimmage as the Bengals send out their offense. Might have to re-kick it. Somebody may have left early for the Steelers down to cover the punt.
Well, it's time to blow that wake-up call whistle for the Cincinnati offense. They've got to take advantage of some of these sacks, turnovers.
Remember the kicking team, number 53, illegally downfield. Will penalize 5 yards and re-kick.
Reggie Clark left early to the dismay of Coach Cowher. Special teams expert, young player for the Steelers. That backs Royals up into his end zone. And he came in as the lowest yardage per punt average in the AFC, but he's done very well today, and he hits another long punt. Corey Sawyer gets by the first wave of pursuers. And the second. And Corey Sawyer's out to the 46-yard line. Former Seminole from Florida State.
Looks like he was shot. Get up, kid.
He'll be up.
Yep, he's up.
Willie Williams down to make the play, along with Victor Jones for the Steelers.
Corey's a young player.
Williams has slowed him up.
Like, about now, he should turn up and get what he can get. That was a mistake. Yeah,
Willie Williams comes back to help get him.
Yeah.
Excellent special teams play. Thigpen's made some nice special teams tackles, but Sawyer, might be a hip point or so.
He is shaking up a bit there.
The Bengals down by 4 with 7:07 to play. Penner runs. A marker comes in. Joel Steed on the tackle.
The 50th flag today.
Boy, it's been a ton of them.
Ugh.
A legal procedure is signaled against Cincinnati. Coach Shula takes his Bengals into Cleveland Stadium to meet the Browns next week.
Offense. 2 men moving prior to the snap and failing to reset. Still first down.
See, that's the second time this is happening. There's no excuse for that. Top of your screen, there's one man moving. There's the other man moving while the one guy's moving. You have problems with that at the high school level.
5th penalty against Cincinnati, 9 against the Steelers.
Uh-oh.
There's his arm coming forward. Johnny Greer, the referee standing right there, says it was. It's an incomplete pass. Greg Lloyd got him. Joel Steed puts pressure on.
Well, the first thing you have to do when you play the Steelers is avoid Lloyd. That's a nice little arm wrap over, comes around and hits the back of his arm. His arm looked a little low to be calling that a forward pass to me. Let's check it again. Coming around, his arm is still. Yep, okay. That's questionable.
And the ball moved forward from his position.
Yeah, we'll go with Johnny Greer. He's a veteran. He's standing right there. Steeler fans don't like it, though.
Pitch back. Broussard runs the ball for Cincinnati and crosses the 45-yard line on a 2nd down and 15 play. He got about 6. Stopped by Levon Kirkland. Coach Cowher's Steelers up against it. They're leading the game, but they've been in a battle all the way.
Watch Lloyd again, 95. So aggressive, he slams right into the blocker. Takes himself out of the play instead of getting on the outside shoulder where he could turn Broussard into the rest of his teammates. A little over-aggressive that time.
Oh, this boy, he raced with those great. Oh, he's great. Steeler linebackers from the glory years. Ham and Lambert. Handoff goes to Broussard, and he's knocked down at the 48-yard line on 3rd down. And the Bengals, with time left, 6:10 to go in the clock running, will send out punter Lee Johnson. Now stopped by Greg Lloyd, who's just been superior today.
He certainly has. The Steelers had an 8-man front that time. Number 25, Gary Jones, a 214-pounder, came in on a blitz.
Ball is punted out of bounds.
Where out of bounds is the question right there.
14-yard line is where the back judge marks it. 36-yard punt. Steelers have the ball, but the Bengal pass rush is ready to come again. Count here at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Don Criqui with Beasley, Reece. All the Bengal coaches told us yesterday you can count on one thing, and that is they'll show up, these Bengals, and play hard. They've done that.
I think they've done themselves proud on defense, offense, a few mistakes on offense, but you know, the real show, the Alfred Williams show, has been quite the factor out here for this Cincinnati team. They needed somebody to step up. He's done it.
Ooh, damn, Williams takes a head-on shot. Oh. My, this guy.
That's Louis Oliver. He's been hit. He's been making people squeal for a long time.
You've been in that position coming up from a strong safety to hit on big runners.
Yeah, but see, I didn't weigh 224.
How do you take him on?
Well, you got to hit him low. Oliver can take him on any way he wants to. He's as big as they are. He's 224, 225. The human, the normal human defensive back has to grab anything. Just hold on.
Wait for help. 2nd and 1. Dan Morris protecting the ball, breaks it ahead. A 9-yard gain, and the Steelers run it out for a 1st down, holding their 4-point lead with the clock running. 4:53 to play.
All right, the defense needs a wake-up call. That's 2 back-to-back plays. Very good blocking. Look at the closing block by number 65, John Jackson. Bam just following instructions. You know, if the lineman pushes him in, he goes out. If the lineman pushes him out, he turns in. That's my offensive line right there. Those are some football players, and they're tight end Eric Green.
Green aligned to the right. O'Donnell stays with the run and back to Morris, who breaks it for the moment up to the 39-yard line. First down carry, good for almost 9 yards. The safeties made the stop. Lewis Oliver and Darrell Williams for the Bengals.
Todd Kalis, Leon Searcy, and Green on the down block. Everybody else folding around, including DeMonte Dawson. Both of your safeties are making the tackle, and when that's happening, you got trouble.
Bam now to 81 yards and 19 carries. If you joined us late, Barry Foster, the ace runner of the Steelers, went out in the first quarter with a sprained left knee. Did not appear to be too serious. He's been back watching the game, but he hasn't played since. Now, on a second and short play, the Bengals, Ricardo McDonald was reading Van Morris all the way and stops him at the 40-yard line.
I don't know how Ricardo got in the backfield that quickly, but he did it. Wrapped his arms around Bam. There's a guy that came in at the same time as that guy. They came in, took over their teams at the same time, but I think Coach Cower inherited a little more from the past coaching staff than David Shula inherited to take over.
Did Bam get there? He did not. The Steelers converted only 4 of 12 third downs prior to that, and it looks like they are short with the ball is spotted. So the Bengal defense really playing some terrific football against the Steelers. Stops Pittsburgh on third down, and Mark Royals, the Pittsburgh punter, comes back out for Coach Cowher.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati uses a timeout to stop the clock with 2:53 to play in the game, and the Bengals down by 4. And you harken back everybody with 20/20 hindsight, but they elected not to go for a field goal well within Pelfrey's range in the second quarter. Tried for it on fourth down and didn't make it. And he hit that one. They could be setting up before this is over for maybe a game-winning try. But the Steelers will be trying to keep people out of the end zone. With 2:53 to play, a 4-point lead means the Bengals have to score a touchdown.
Sawyer broke a long one earlier this season. #1 punt returner in the league.
82 yards and a touchdown.
Yep, he's a dangerous little guy.
He wasn't hurt long, was he?
No, he wasn't hurt long, was he?
He was helped off a little bit ago.
He was helped off like a Hollywood movie.
Here he comes. Here come the Steelers. Sawyer very elusive and always protecting the ball. It was a 50-yard punt by Royals. And just a 5-yard return as Gary Jones was down to cover on the play for Pittsburgh. Now the load falls on the shoulders of David Klingler, the man who set all those passing records at Houston. Here's Sawyer. .240 to play. Pickens goes wide right. Darnay Scott wide left. They're looking at him, giving him a lot of attention. They're doubling Darnay Scott. Throw over the middle with the ball is Derek Fenner, and he's out close to the 25-yard line. A good read by the quarterback, David Klingler.
Bengals have 1 timeout left. This is a situation that David Klingler likes. It's almost, the team is almost forced to mix in a little more passing than running. Although it's not a situation yet where they just have to back it up and swing it every time.
Deion Figures playing a very hard bump and run with Darnay Scott as they are really trying to keep him out of the game. This rookie who's caught 3 passes against Rod Woodson. He's caught 4 for the day for 70 yards. This guy is a big-time player. Darnay Scott, they got him as the 30th pick in the draft near the top of the second round. the guy they want to get it to. Scott down to the lower portion of your screen. Third and short. They didn't get there. The Steelers shut it down. Gerald Williams, 98, makes the play for the Steelers as we're down to the 2-minute warning. We'll be back for the stretch run of a terrific game in a moment. We have 2 minutes to go here at Three Rivers Stadium. David Klingler with timeouts remaining. He has just one. Bengals getting a stop of the clock on the 2-minute warning, but now a critical play. Fourth down coming up. The ball positioned at Cincinnati's 24-yard line. The Steeler defense digs in. David Shula's team needing less than a foot for a first down. But beyond that, they need a touchdown. There's a guy that's just had a tremendous game, Greg Lloyd. He has stood out for the Pittsburgh defense, and Alfred Williams for the Cincinnati defense. Williams with 4 sacks today. But right now he looks on from the sidelines.
All right.
Fourth down comes up for the Bengal offense.
One of those situations.
Klingler. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he got it.
Coach Cowher waiting to hear. It's not going to be any more than the nose of the ball if he got it. They also serve who sit and wait. That's all Shula can do. I think you're right, Beasley. I think he's got it by the nose of the ball here.
Yeah, I think he barely got it. He got a lot of instruction from Kenny Anderson during the timeout.
Oh, boy.
Move your legs, kid.
Yeah, got it by the whole ball.
Okay.
Never in doubt, huh? Man.
Okay.
Here we go.
Get to the line. And he's good, boy. He stuck it out a little bit. Maybe.
The clock starts.
Here we go.
1:53 to play. Bengals down by 4. First down. They'll be airing it out here. Klingler stands in. He throws. Comes in low. The wide receiver to running back Steve Broussard. Incomplete, but the clock stops with 1:44 to play.
A little deliberate on the delivery that time by Klingler. I tell you, you gotta have the freedom to just step up and let it go. Watch how perfect and technical he tries to be there. He's disappointed with that throw. You gotta just step up and let it go. Got to trust it. A free swing of the arm.
These are the Steeler corners doing a nice job also of bumping these wide receivers, keeping them from deep patterns. Klingler on the run. Takes a look. And Pickens wide open way downfield, but he does get it ahead to Tim McGee for a first down. As the Bengals sprint into alignment without a huddle. 16-yard gain on the play. Big play by Klingler, who has played a mistake-free game.
But right now, the Steelers can afford to play a little nice, comfy zone.
Another throw and a catch. This one to Pickens, who's out to the 47-yard line. And the clock continues to tick down. One timeout left for the Bengals. They're down by 4.
This is the prevent defense that everybody hates when it does not work.
Big play.
There's another dance.
Brenston Buckner, the rookie, makes the biggest play of his young career.
Number 3.
And the Bengals are forced to take their last timeout with 59 seconds left to play.
Hey, boy, I love it. 6'2", 306 pounds of strutting stuff. Look at the big man run right over the guy blocking him. And then a little 310 shaky bacon baby.
And this gives us a chance to tell you the executive producer of NBC Sports is Tommy Roy. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Paratzis. Today's game was produced by John McGinnis. Directed by Kelly Atkinson. NFL Live produced by Ricky Diamond. And directed by John Gilmartin. And we thank them all as we come down the final stretch of this game. 59 seconds to play. The Bengals, who've lost 18 of their last 21 games over the last 2 seasons. They got to get
get the first down with a nice little 10-yard toss, and then run a double cut and try to get it off.
Looking for the out pattern so they can get somebody out of bounds. Klingler loses the ball. Steelers have it. It's over. Pittsburgh will go to 4-2, and the Bengals, despite a tremendous effort, go back home a loser again.
That was a great effort by Cincinnati. David Klingler does that a lot. And he does it because he holds the ball with one hand in his drop back, and when he sets in the pocket, so when he's hit, he's holding the ball just with his hands. See how he goes back with two hands? He's got to keep two hands on it. There's Lloyd again.
Lloyd is unbelievable.
Again.
Like Batman, he flies in.
See him drop that left hand off of it, and once you did, I mean, it's a habit that he has. The way he's dropped 3 or 4 already this year. I still say, get him an offensive line, you got a quarterback.
And the Steelers able to run out the clock now. The Bengals powerless to stop it. They're out of timeout despite their brilliant effort. And the Bengals will head back 0-6 on the season. And the Steelers remain a game behind the Cleveland Browns. Buy a ticket to see that December 18th.
Better believe it.
Pittsburgh. And now we tell you the employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP, Alfred Williams of the Cincinnati Bengals, the winner of today's We Try Harder award. And with 4 sacks and a great effort, he did it all. And the Steelers roundly congratulate their adversaries from Cincinnati, as the Steelers, a big favorite, are fortunate to leave their home field with a 14-10 victory over the Bengals. So David Shule and his team go back, but they kept their promise. We'd show up and we'll play hard. Coach Fowler happy to get out of here with this. Once again, our final score, 14-10 Pittsburgh. Up next, golf's most engaging personalities compete in the Skills Challenge. For Beasley, Reece, this is Don Criqui. Glad you could join us at Three Rivers Stadium.